Hello! So today we are taking a look at the F-14B from IndiaFoxtEcho and Heatblur. This is a collaboration between the people who made the F-14 for DCS and IndiaFoxtEcho, who have got a long history of trying to put military aircraft into flight simulator, which it's not really designed for, but it's not too bad at it. Okay, so let's go and say ready to fly. And we're inside the cockpit, which then opens bizarrely as soon as you sit inside it. But we're sat on the deck of the USS Forrestal, which is one of the aircraft carriers that comes with the F-14s. I think there's 5 or 6 different aircraft carriers. It's really nicely modelled. Unfortunately, it doesn't move. So I've also got the super carrier that I've purchased recently, but I'll be doing that as a separate video. I just wanted to show what you get with the F-14 and what you can do with it, really. So if we go and jump inside, we've spawned obviously in a parking place, so nothing is powered up. So I'm just going to run you through starting up the F-14 very briefly. So I'll head tracking off to do that. First thing we do is look down below us, and we'll have to scoot round to see this. There's an oxygen switch down behind here. You switch that on, and that obviously puts oxygen into the masks. And I'm going to follow the checklist that I wrote for DCS. So if you go over to my Ko-fi page, you should be able to find that. Okay, so we've done the oxygen. The next thing we need to do is attach ground and air power to the aircraft. The quickest way of doing that, there is a keyboard binding they tell you about in the documentation. So I'm going to say Control-Alt-P, which I've pre-configured, and that will start doing that. It will plug the air and the power into the airplane. So yeah, the F-14 doesn't have its own onboard APU. It has to have air and electricity supplied to it on the ground. Next thing we can do is get the RIO, or radar intercept officer, to go and start checking things out in the back of the aircraft and configuring things. So we can go to checklists on this panel, or we can if we click on it. There we go, and we can say do the voice assisted.
Okay. ICS comm check.
So this is the guy in the back that we can hear talking, and while he's talking we can spin around. We obviously can't respond to him, so it just simulates it. We can flick the switch on the top of the seat that enables the ejector seat.
Check landing gear indication extended,
and we can close the canopy.
Off.
So if you have a look around, you'll see the canopy is now coming down.
Select LCS on master test switch and verify all lights illuminate.
Okay, so next thing we can do is start the engines while he's doing his work. So if we roll the mouse on the switch to go right, you will see over here on the RPM gauge the RPM for the right engine increasing. This isn't very realistic in the fact that there is no shut-off position for the throttles, so it will just automatically take the engine straight up to idle. You don't have to bring the throttles onto idle to let fuel flow through at 30%, which you normally would. So that will keep going on its own, and the switch will center when it's ready to start the left engine. While we're waiting for that, we can get on with some other things. So we've got the stability augmentation system for pitch, roll and yaw, which we can switch on. And it should be switching over anytime soon. We just hang on for it. Just while we're waiting for that, we can come over here and turn on the displays in the aeroplane. So you've got the VDI, HUD and HSD. We can also switch this to TID mode on the HSD, which you saw that change there. Unfortunately, in the accurate version of the Tomcat, like the one in DCS, you actually get a progress bar on here that shows you the gyro progress, the alignment for the inertial navigation, which obviously, you know, controls all sorts of things, but that doesn't seem to be implemented. So the switch over there to start the engine is now gone in the middle, so we're going to roll the mouse wheel forwards on it to start the left engine. As you can see, the right engine is idling at 70%. So then we can come over, we can uncage the standby attitude indicator, we can switch on the radar altitude and calibrate the altimeter while we're here. And we can actually configure this, so we can set it to like 100 feet for a warning. Okay, so that's most of it done. So now radios. We've got the main radio mode switch down here. We can switch to both. and then we can turn TACAN to TR. Turn some lights on. So over on the right hand side we can go and turn the position, wing lights, tail and anti-collision lights on. So you can see these have a bright and a dim setting. We'll just go for bright today. You can also see you can make them steady or flash. Put the anti-collision lights on as well. I haven't tried this aircraft in the dark yet. I don't know what the floodlights are going to look like. So you can see the head-up display has several modes. So you have takeoff mode, cruise, air-to-air, air-to-ground and landing. So we're going to leave it in takeoff mode. A diamond shape means it's selected. Okay. So we can tell them to disconnect the ground, the air and power. So Control-Alt-P does that. Obviously, because we have no route and no ADF or anything like that plugged in, then, or no TACAN configured, then that's just going to spin. It's not going to give us a direction to anything. Obviously, the early warning screen isn't going to work either because no weapon systems are implemented, which is a bit of a shame, but it's just the way it is. Okay, so we can come off the parking brake and we can gently increase the throttle. And we'll turn head tracking on now, shall we? So, get it lined up. So we're just going to roll out. So the aeroplane has a bit of a hack installed in it to allow you to do catch shots from anywhere. All you need to do is kneel the front leg, the front landing leg, and then engage the parking brake. And then when you disengage the parking brake, the aeroplane will behave as if it's coming off a catapult. So it gets a sudden burst of speed. Okay, so we'll just line up vaguely near. So down here there's the switch to kneel the aeroplane. So if we go and have a look outside, we can see what's going on with that. You'll see this drop. Yeah, it's just hovering off the deck, which is a bit annoying, but you can see, I mean, obviously we're not exactly in the right place. So if you had a more detailed carrier, Super Carrier does it a little bit, where you get guided in by the ground crew. But obviously we need to put the wings out now as well. So I'm going to do this without the head tracking because it's going to be a pain to show you it. So down here, you roll the mouse wheel on the yellow lever, push it all the way forwards. This is quite simplified. In an accurate Tomcat like the one in DCS, you have to actually go through particular calibration settings with this. So you push it in and then close the lid on it, and then you have to click the reset button, and you should now see we have the wings out there, and we should be able to extend the slats and flaps. Now this is interesting because the slats are automatic on an accurate Tomcat. These appear to be manually controlled. Okay. Let's just line the camera up. So what we do is we increase the throttles to 100%. We then engage the afterburner with a button push, which again, the real Tomcat doesn't have that. It just has a notch in the throttle position. But yeah, they insist in Flight Sim on using a button to activate the afterburner. So we'll go full afterburner, and then we'll, as soon as we remove the parking brake, it will simulate a catch shot. And there we go. Okay, so gear up, flaps up, throttle back. We don't need afterburner for very long. Get away from the direction of the carrier immediately. Check around behind us. There's the carrier. We've gone a long way very quickly, haven't we? Doesn't hang about. Okay, so we're going to go straight back in for a landing, just to show you it. So we change the HUD mode over to landing. We want to be, just seeing where the carrier is, we want to drop down to about 800 feet on the downwind leg. We can even give ourselves quite a long way on the run in. Typically in the real world, they'll be looking to come in from the 3 mile point, or on a really short turn in, they'll be looking to be at basically 350 feet at 3/4 of a mile lined up. So how you get there is pretty much up to you, you know, with radio comms. But they have a thing called a Case 1 procedure where you fly over the carrier, or to the right of the carrier I should say, at 800 feet, and then you drop down during this downwind leg to 550, 600 feet. So I'm going to stay quite high on purpose. So we'll go gear down. You also get an angle of attack indicator here, where if you're at the right angle of attack, then the aeroplane is said to be on speed. It's also a bit disconcerting, there are no other ships in the group. Normally a carrier is flanked by several other ships, you know, warships that are protecting it, which we obviously don't have. So we're just coming in, keeping an eye on airspeed. We're doing about 180 knots at the moment, which is fine. Slowly descending. We don't have much to go on other than the velocity vector. Obviously if you've got the supercarrier add-on, then you've also got the ball. But this is pretty good. It gives us some idea. Unfortunately the velocity vector implemented in Flight Simulator isn't very good. It doesn't really tell you the truth. Certainly not from a lateral point of view. So if you did want to try and capture the wires, you can put the hook out as well, and again it will simulate tripping the wires as long as you come in a sensible manner. I don't like the way this rolls on landing at all. That gives you some idea of what you can do with this add-on. So if we then release the hook, we can wind the wings back in immediately. So you can just lift this back up and pull the wings back. Will it let us do it? Apparently not. Anyway, we're going to increase the throttle gently, and we should. Now notice we haven't got the nose wheel steering lit up, so I have to try and remember what I set it for. Control or S, wasn't it? There we go. Just enabled nose wheel steering, and now I can get away from the flight deck. That's a bit of a mystery why I wasn't allowed to sweep the wings. Should be okay here. The reason I can't sweep the wings is because I got the flaps extended, of course. So I'm just retracting the flaps and the slats. And I should now be able to, yeah, like you can see it's coming back all on its own. Perfect. Okay, so hopefully you enjoyed that. It was a very, very short look. Should we just nudge the airplane forwards and see if we can get onto the elevator alongside this other Tomcat? That's right on the limit, isn't it? Anyway, I'm going to leave it there. That's just a first look at the Heatblur and IndiaFoxtEcho collaboration to make a half-decent Tomcat for Flight Simulator. It is by far the best Tomcat that exists so far, or probably the best military plane that exists so far in the simulator. Certainly in terms of modelling, it's just night and day better than anything else out there. If you want to shut the engines off, you can. There's some click spots hidden down here. Oops, if we go... and shut the engines down. It's a little bit annoying that it's not quite as high fidelity as I might have liked, and I think people who are used to DCS will be quite disappointed. But considering Flight Simulator just is not set up for doing military aircraft, I don't think we can be too hard on it. It's still very, very good. If we just have a look at the airplane from here, should we go and open the canopy as well? I'm not sure if we need power to do this, but we'll try it. Yeah, of course, it removes the pilots when the canopy is open. I don't know why they took that decision, but it just does. Okay, I'm going to leave it there. As I said, there are many ships that come with it. They are all static, the ones that come with it, so don't expect wonders. Anyway, I'm going to leave it there. Hopefully you enjoyed that. Remember, I said you can get my checklist from DCS. I'll hopefully make an abbreviated checklist for Flight Sim very soon, because the documentation that comes with the Tomcat tells you to look at the DCS documentation. Anyway, I'm going to leave it there. See you soon. Take care.